Let's move on to another matter now, and this is in court. Accused number 1 in the Hillary Gardee murder has been denied bail. Sipho Mkhatshwa is one of the 3 suspects accused of killing the daughter of former EFF Secretary General Hillary Gardee. Her body was discovered after she went missing for 4 days in April. Our reporter Silindelo Masikane is outside Nelspruit, and she has magistrates court, and she of course attended those court proceedings. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Slee. Of course, I suppose the nub of the issue here is the judge saying no bail, and the matter is now postponed until the 22nd of August. What were some of the reasons that brought him to the decision that he made just a few moments ago?
Well, Magistrate Eddie Hall really went into a lot of detail, Rafiwa, in terms of bringing forward the facts of the case, the evidence that was brought before him during the arguments of bail application. Of course, the state had opposed it, saying that Mkhatshwa was not only a flight risk but also a risk to the lives of witnesses because he knows who they are. And in fact, there is evidence and statements before the court that supports the state's case in saying that there are possibilities that if Mkhatshwa is released, then the witnesses' lives could essentially be on the line, putting the state's case as well at risk as well. So during those arguments, we heard, of course, during the bail application from Mkhatshwa's lawyer, who also put it before the courts that his client had a chronic illness, that he was a father, that he was supporting a number of children, but also the state rebutting this with the fact that the children that Mkhatshwa supports don't actually belong to him, and that he no longer really has a job to come back to since his arrest in May. But the judge, in essence, saying that there were no exceptional circumstances brought before him by Mkhatshwa to be released on bail, saying that he faces a Schedule 6 offence, and so the onus was on him to prove exactly why he qualifies for bail. Let's take a listen.
Considering all these aspects, I will make the following rule and order. After considering and evaluating the statements, applying the law to the facts, the court is therefore of the opinion that the accused, Mr. Sipho Lawrence Mkhatshwa, did not discharge the onus as contemplated in Section 6011A of Act 51 of 77, and the grounds in Section 60, subsection 4A and B and C, A and C at least. He failed to show that there are factors which in the interest of justice permit his release on bail, or that there are exceptional circumstances. Accused failed to adduce independent evidence of innocence or regarding the strength of the state's case. Therefore, the application for bail is not granted and bail is refused. Thank you.
Now, Slee, the entire incident is still cold comfort for the family, which it is now 3 months to the day that they have lost their daughter, Hillary Gardee. I know Hillary Gardee isn't prepared to speak with the media, but have you engaged with the family members at all today? We do see from the post that you had on Twitter that they even had a picture of her in those proceedings this morning.
Unfortunately, we did try and speak to them after court proceedings when we adjourned after court, but none of them were really willing to speak to us. I think, you can imagine it is quite emotional. Every third of the month, in fact, for the family, it becomes quite difficult because it is the day in which Hillary Gardee was found. And of course, we know that from a recent post from Hillary Gardee, actually, there are seemingly more allegations coming out in terms of why Hillary Gardee was targeted. You remember when the news broke of her going missing, it was quite unclear as to why exactly who or would be targeting her, and we were speculating around the fact that it may have been a botched robbery, but it does seem as though Hillary Gardee has his own insinuations in terms of the possibilities around why his daughter was targeted. He led a march, in fact, to the Eswatini borders back in April. And in his post yesterday on Twitter, he says on the 12th of April 2022, 4 borders were closed in each for more than 6 hours. There was no income for the Eswatini government. The king was angry and he unleashed his foreign intelligence service with a robbery decoy and killed Hillary Gardee. The shoddy investigation by the SA Police Services is influenced by the Eswatini government to avoid a diplomatic fallout. On the 26th of April 2016, this is what was said about the plight of people of Eswatini. Hillary is not a victim of common robbery or crime. So that was the post by Hillary Gardee just yesterday ahead of this jail judgment, casting aspersions on the fact that there might be a bigger reason as to why his daughter was targeted.
That's a very important tweet that you mentioned there, Silindelo Masikane, because the Eswatini government has since come out and refuted the claims that have been made by Hillary Gardee, and saying that government has been faced with many protests by many different political parties, and so they had no reason to torment the EFF or its individual members in any way. But of course, this is a story that will continue to develop, and you'll be following those developments for us. That is Silindelo Masikane, giving us an update on that court judgment that one of the accused, Sipho Mkhatshwa, will not be getting bail, and his case has now been postponed until the 22nd of August.